from the third dimension.
This is 3D or 2D.com's Duh 3D Show.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
If you're wondering what the 3D stand for, they are discussion, debate, and the news. We hope that you enjoy the show. Get it? The show? Hello. Welcome to episode 114 of the 3D Show. I'm Adolf, and I have with me Classic Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And New Jake.
Hi, everybody.
And this time we have a ton to talk about. Apparently there was a Comic-Con for Brazil that happened, and we got a whole bunch of trailers, and before that, a whole bunch of news. And we haven't recorded it in a little bit because of the holiday for us, Thanksgiving. So, a lot of stuff going on. Oh yeah, before we get really started, this podcast was recorded on December 3rd, approximately 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, this extra part here is recorded on December 7th when we finished editing this podcast. I forgot to mention this in the podcast originally. And so we don't get to cover all the news. We did miss a couple news bits, which include the Flash movie being moved up a week, which I think is cool. I hope it's 3D. I don't know if it is or not. And Black Adam being considered a quote-unquote flop, because it didn't make enough money. So, Avatar 2 has gotten some other, been in the news with, lots of different people, reviewers and critics watching it and saying that it looks really cool. So, we don't get to talk about it in this podcast because I'm future Adolf, and you're going to be listening to past Adolf, or present Adolf, or time travel makes my headache. So, yeah, back to the show. So, let's just go through there one by one and talk about stuff. But so a lot of things are connected to one each other, and a lot of things we didn't have time to talk about before, or we only talk about it with patrons. So, we're going to give y'all opportunity to talk, to get over and get a little bit of everything. So I guess the big first topic is Disney CEO Bob Igor is returning. He was taken out and now he's back for a short time, I think. 2 years.
Yeah, he signed a year contract.
This was totally unexpected. I didn't know this was going to happen at all.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, because Chapek was recently rehired for 5 years?
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't believe they did that. I mean, I was like, what do you have to do at Disney to get fired?
Well, I mean,
we still don't know. We just know that it happens.
Well, we haven't had a $1 billion grossing MCU movie since 2019.
Yeah.
And even though Disney Plus has a lot of subscribers, they're still not making money off of it.
Yeah.
So it's just, this is going to impact a lot of things because are we going to get any releases or anything canceled that we were expecting before? Are we going to get things moved around? Are we going to get these movies greenlit? That there might be a big shuffling that we don't know about, and we probably won't know until maybe the new year because he wants to probably, I assume as much, he wants to go in, look at the books and see what the plans, and then think it over and then make decisions, and boom, we're going to have, I bet, a lot of decisions about movies being canceled, a lot of movies being moved around and such soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of TV, I think a lot of series may either get turned into movies, movies turned into TV series, or one shot, one episode. Yeah, we're going to see probably a lot of change. Probably
a lot of cost cutting.
Yeah, and also we'll see layoffs probably, and I think we'll see a lot of changes at the parks. And if they're smart, they'll reduce prices.
That's not happening.
This is Disney.
Yeah, I've never seen Disney lower their prices, but right now they're obscene.
So, I imagine that they might say to Marvel certain things might have less stuff to do. They may say, okay, we're not getting a season 2 of this or that, or we're not going to do I can imagine that they will talk to Marvel and Star Wars. Apparently, people love Andor, but it's like a big flop for Disney. So I think they already said they're going to get a season 2, but I feel like maybe they won't get a season 3 because the viewership is low. But it's kind of hazy with Star Wars stuff, and there's a lot of stuff going on there. But like Mandalorian, is super hot. Everyone loves Baby Yoda. And season 3 is coming, even though I think season 2 ended perfectly for the franchise. But fine, they're going to have a season 3. So there's going to be a lot of changes, and it's really huge news. And you're going to talk about this probably the next few months. So this is just the first dabble into this era of Bob Igor returning. So let's keep going. Kind of keeping on Disney. We got a whole bunch of trailers here. We got for confirmed 3D movie, a Pixar movie at that. Elemental. What are your guys' thoughts on this new animated movie?
It looked okay. It looked like kind of Inside Out did well. So let's just kind of rip ourselves off and do a variation of Inside Out, but this time make it Elementals
with a little bit of Zootopia.
Exactly, and a few light gags. Who would think that would be watching that trailer would be the highlight of my evening when I went to the movie, and that was just a mediocre trailer.
Yeah, and a mediocre teaser.
It's a teaser for sure. We don't know anything about this besides we think the water guy and the fire girl are attracted to one another. And they might date, but I don't know anything else besides that. And that's the only kind of inkling we got. But we don't know how this universe works and if there's animals here or how much of the things interact. Is this going to be like a racist thing where, oh, you brought a water person in, we're fire people, how dare you?
I think it's going to be a remake of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, but with elements.
Now, we got to see this in 3D when we saw recent movie of Strange World, and I thought it wasn't that good in 3D. I thought it was fine, but meh.
Meh. M-E-H. Meh.
I mean, it's most Pixar products.
So, yeah, it's I have faith in Pixar. This is just a cute little teaser. We'll see what happens with this movie. But right now, it doesn't give us much to think about. I mean, this whole universe of Pixar and how this could work might be interesting. But it also could be really simple because elemental stuff has been done to death on different anime and different cartoons in general. And it's just everyone knows about the different kinds of elements and water, fire, wind, Earth, Heart. Is Heart going to be here?
Go Planet! By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet! Captain Planet!
Captain Planet. But I don't know. All right, let's keep going here. Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor, said he's going to take some time off because he's figured out that he has a genetic predisposition for Alzheimer's. Jake, what's your thoughts on that?
If he's willing to say that much publicly, who knows how bad it really is in privately. So I'm like, good on you. Yeah, you only get one life. He's probably got more money than he can spend in a lifetime unless he's a total drunken idiot. So yeah, spend it with the people you love instead of making movies that bomb and people insult you on social media.
Now, Jacob, what are your thoughts?
I just want him to be happy and healthy. That's all I really want because I like Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, so do I. And I think he'd be happier spending time with his family instead of making movies that seems like his audience doesn't like or want to see.
Yeah. I mean, I have a feeling that's why he made that Neo Geo show on Disney Plus. I forgot the name of it, but he's just kind of doing all these extreme things. Like, hey, I've done that. So maybe that's why. Kind of almost like a midlife crisis, but sort of not really.
Mm-hmm. It kind of feels a bit sleazy how they're marketing. It feels like when Paula Deen announced she had diabetes and then tried to market a diet.
The butter diet.
Now, Hemsworth is the same age as me, 39. So it's, usually Alzheimer's doesn't really start to hit people until at the very earliest, like the 50s, right? Or 60s, right? Or no?
I mean, there is early onset dementia and stuff.
Yeah, there's been some, because my family, we have the predisposition for Alzheimer's, and there's been members of my family who have died from it at 35.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a real thing. And my family, we have the gene on both sides of the family.
Now, I remember hearing somewhere that Hemsworth also said that he's not super interested in doing another Thor movie unless they really rethink the character. I don't remember where that was from. Do you guys remember hearing something about that recently or no?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, him and Taika both have. I think they just didn't expect. I don't think anybody expected the reaction that this Thor movie got.
Love and Thunder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Love and Thunder.
I mean, I had a feeling it would because Ragnarok isn't that great, no matter what people say it is, and I had a feeling it's going to be more along that, but worse. And yeah, I was kind of right.
I really like Ragnarok, but there is definitely people that don't like it. But it's just, I guess. The formula didn't work for everybody. The second time, it worked for me. I liked it. I liked both movies. So, I don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see how Marvel, is going to handle Thor, because Thor is in a different position now if after that movie ends. So,
yeah.
Maybe they'll bring back the mighty Thor from Valhalla, and they'll incorporate her as the new Thor.
Or, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out, because that's a really big thread that they left hanging, and I don't think they could get away with not resolving that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's taking care of the daughter of a god creature, so that's a big deal.
So what's her name? Is it Love God Butcher?
Gore the God Butcher.
That's her dad, but she would be Love God Butcher.
Oh, yeah.
So is she going to become one of the Young Avengers?
Are we just going to get another off-screen death like Chadwick? Oof. I know that sounds bad, but...
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. Jake, I'll let you pick the next topic. What do you want to talk about next?
Oh, I guess let's talk about Cocaine Bear.
That trailer looked wild and fun.
Oh my god.
And we'll be saving this topic for the patrons.
Oh,
so
know about Pablo Escobar, the Cocaine Bear.
And we'll be saving this topic for the patron exclusive bonus features. So we'll talk about that later. But okay, Jacob, I'll pass it to you. What other topic do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about the last Puss in Boots trailer.
Now, I feel like this actually should have been the first trailer, because it actually gives you the plot and gives you a lot of information in some ways, but it also kind of feels like might be too much information. But now we know that this is going to be a movie about him trying to find a star to, get him, because he's on his last life. And it changes the kind of dynamic of the movie a little bit, because we weren't sure where it was going in the first trailer. We're just like, okay, he's going to meet up with this other lady and have a cat family, and then they have an adventure with Selma Hayek, and I don't know what else is going on. But now we know what's going on. Now I'm excited. Now it's like, oh, right, we got this movie in 3 weeks. I'm excited. So what are you guys thinking?
I think it's going to be really good. Probably even better than the first Puss in Boots movie.
Yeah, it was a great trailer. To add insult to injury, I see the in-real 3D. Of course, the trailer's 2D, and there is a 3D screening remotely near me.
Now, they have early screenings, or they had some, but it was 2D only, which is very disappointing, because I would have loved to watch that day after Thanksgiving, or Saturday after Thanksgiving, and it's...
Went on sale, and there's no 3D screenings near me. Regal's not running it in 3D. the two AMCs around here aren't running it in 3D, and Cinemark isn't running it in 3D. They're up in. They have a few in Portland.
I got some near me.
Oh, lucky you.
I mean, they could update it, so just keep a lookout.
Yeah, because Strange World got one 3D screening near me on a Saturday.
I'm looking up to see. I have 3D screenings, so I'm sorry, Classic Jake. I don't know what's going on with you, but I have 3D screenings for the 21st and 22nd. So
yeah, me too. It's just like they still haven't added all my theaters yet, so yeah, just keep a lookout.
Yeah, that could I could get lucky.
But the reviews for this movie is surprisingly very positive, like almost 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, oh wow. I kind of feel bad to know that because I don't want to ruin this potential review.
Yeah.
And I hate that Fandango has that, right there, Rotten Tomatoes score when you try to buy tickets. So,
Yeah.
It's like, if I wanted to go there, I would go there. I don't want to get spoiled on there and potentially, change my opinion on it. Because, whenever you see a movie that you already know the score for, you kind of frame it. Kind of like whenever I watched Strange World, I already reviewed, or, was with Jacob when he reviewed it, or helped edit his review. So I was kind of framing it in my mind, is Jacob's review wrong or right? And I couldn't disagree enough with it to really feel one way or another. So it's already in my mind framed. And that's why I kind of basically agree with you, Jacob, because I don't really feel strong enough to disagree strongly. Now, Jake, you do disagree with us. You think it's a bad movie, Strange World, right?
Yeah.
So it's we try to have our own opinions and not talk about stuff, and but we never know, and it's always rough to see that. But I'm excited to know that it's good. But you never know, because sometimes I like movies that everyone hates, and sometimes I hate movies that everyone loves, and that's kind of just gotta judge it on your own merit.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, yeah. Think of all the crap we've got about liking the last X-Men movie.
The New Mutants or Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix.
Mutants is
I like Dark Phoenix.
Yeah.
So it wasn't perfect, but it was watchable.
Qualifies as a movie, much less an X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Now, we gotta keep going because we got so many trailers to talk about. We got a second Avatar official trailer, Avatar: Way of Water, and we've all seen this trailer in 3D, and it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty. It's like it's not that much different than the previous trailer, but ooh, it's pretty.
Yeah, it still doesn't really explain what the story is going to be, really, except it's going to be water-based.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's something to do with the whales and something to do with the water people that, I don't know. It really doesn't tell me anything about the story at all. Like,
oh man, I have no idea what's going on right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. We just get more of it, and we get some more, and the 3D looks fantastic. And if anything, it kind of spoils you for other 3D movies because it's like, oh wow, this is awesome. And then you see the movie that you actually went to see, and you're like, oh, it's not as good as this.
Thank you, Strange World.
Well,
thank you, Wakanda Forever.
Yeah. I don't know if this has any relevance to what the box office is going to be, but I had to get midnight screening tickets because I didn't hear about tickets going on sale until an hour after they started going on sale. And when I went to purchase my Avatar 2 tickets, the 3D screenings were already pretty much filled up until the midnight one.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though. Like, it seems like Disney is trying to brace for impact that this movie could be a disappointment because James Cameron is saying it needs to be in the top 5 grossing movies of all time for it to break even. So that doesn't bode well for a potential 3.
Yeah,
Avatar 3.
It's connected to this story because, if he said that, it needs to be really high, like $2 billion worldwide.
It probably only needs to make $800 million. That's still a ridiculous amount of money. It needs to break even, but still.
Yeah. I think there's a rule about Hollywood money is, it's not really about the number. It's about expectations.
Really? Of course, if it really takes $2 billion to break even, that's enough to fire Bob Chapek over.
Yeah.
But he didn't do that.
It's just like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about Avatar: The Way of Water. It's just, I wasn't a huge fan of the first movie, but the 3D was glorious, so
Yeah.
I'll keep an open mind.
Yeah, Dances with Wolves underwater.
With a bit of Ferngully, just not as interesting.
Yeah, but the 3D was pretty.
Yeah.
It was.
Now, I got my tickets for Thursday, and I was tempted to go to IMAX 3D, but IMAX 3D is now $25 for, and I was like, I don't think
splurge, man. It's James Cameron.
I could go to a local theater that has almost as good as IMAX for $7 less. So,
okay.
That's
well,
what
I'm going to go at 3 p.m. in the afternoon on a Thursday as well, so I'll be off work then.
Oh, look at you guys. I'm going to have my dead ass up at midnight.
So, the money-wise is interesting. I did hear that in India, it's selling really, really, really well, so that might be a really good sign, but I think in Hollywood, the rules, they don't really care about numbers per se, but I mean, they do care, but it's more like expectations game. Does it beat expectations? Does it meet expectations? Or does it fail to meet expectations? Those are the three. That's the bar. It's really simple. Does it fail? Then it bombs, and then they don't care. If they have expectations that we don't know about. The executive team and all that, they have, okay, we expect this movie to make this amount of money and to be this popular, and if it doesn't go that way, then they'll be disappointed. But if it gets near there, then they might be okay, and then it just depends on the execs and if movies make sequels or not. But if it exceeds expectations, then obviously it will have a sequel or continue on the franchise in some sorts. But it's more like that, and I feel like if Avatar: The Way of Water makes over $1 billion worldwide, not quite $2 billion, I think Disney will be okay with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, but like they got a secured release in China, so it's going to do probably gangbusters over there because they love 3D there. But the marketing, it's there, but like they're not going to the full potential like the first one did, because I'm not seeing any toys, no video games, nothing like that. It's just the movie, and it's really odd.
I think there was a game, but it got delayed or something.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's tied into the movie. I just want to say that's probably more tied into the universe of Avatar, but I'm not quite sure about that.
So yeah, I imagine if it's like less than 500 million worldwide, Disney's going to be pissed. I think they're going to release. The third one's going to release because it's already filmed and already done. So that doesn't matter. That's in the bank. Now James Cameron said, depending on how the third one it does, I think Disney already told him, stop. You can't do a fourth one until we get to know what the second and third one do. And, if the second and third one both are, okay, then maybe. But obviously they'll have to give him on the time clock and be like, no, we're not going to wait 20 damn years to get back another sequel.
Because James Cameron's already talked about Avatar 6 and 7. I'm like, dude, the Avatar lore is not that rich to have more than 3 movies, I bet.
Yeah.
Let alone 2.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see. But it's interesting because it's a big number to be scared about $2 billion. And I don't think any movie since 2020 has gotten anywhere near that.
Spider-Man last year made $1.9 billion. So that's the closest we've gotten.
Okay. Now, I wonder how much of that is because of all the Spider-Mans that's in that, and it got what people wanted. Now, is Avatar 2 going to give what people want? I don't know. But it definitely, I feel like, at least from that trailer, it's going to give people what they want in 3D-wise.
It was kind of refreshing watching a TV trailer for that, and it said, experience it in 3D. I'm like, it's been years since I've heard that. It wasn't just a logo, it said experience in 3D, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I totally feel you, because so many trailers we're going to talk about today, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, cool. And then we don't mention 3D. And it's like, oh. But then real Real D talks about it on Twitter, so I guess that means it is 3D, but they didn't mention it in the trailer or the poster. So it's kind of wishy-washy now if we get confirmation before the movie comes out. And even before that, we don't know. Because like, we didn't know about Strange World for like months until right before it came out. And we're like, oh, it's coming out. It's coming out in 3D. Cool. Because I was thinking that it was going to go to Disney Plus, and it probably should have, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how maybe we'll get lucky in this resurgence. We definitely have plenty of 2023 movies that are 3D. Now, after that point, it's going to really depend on how Avatar 2 does.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we'll get a 3D resurgence with not just movies, but with technology like TV, monitors, computers.
Come on, give me 8K OLED HDR 3D without glasses. Come on.
Give me a 3DS 2.
At least an HD 3DS would be nice.
Yeah, or a 3D Switch. That'd be fantastic.
All right, Classic Jake, what do you want to talk about next? Not talking about Cocaine Bear until we get to the Patreon section.
Okay. I guess we'll talk about Quentin Tarantino's shit-talking Marvel movies again.
He's right on the money, though, but with the movie star thing.
I actually agree with Quentin more or less. He claims Marvel actors aren't movie stars, that their characters are. Yeah, he's the only actor I can think of that has gotten a boost from being in a Marvel movie really is Chris Evans.
I mean, what about Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Holland?
He was a star before, and he hasn't been able to really transition to a hit outside of Iron Man.
I don't know. Sherlock Holmes? Due date?
Or
Sherlock Holmes 2?
Before he did Iron Man.
No, that was after.
Okay, I always thought it was before. No, but the thing is, not that big of movies.
I mean, the Sherlock Holmes movies were like huge hits, though. They grossed over $500 million worldwide.
Okay, that's not too bad. But the thing is, he was already a star.
Yeah.
And Scarlett Johansson. I mean, she was already.
Chris Evans was kind of a sort of a star. Yeah, I'd say Tom Holland has the biggest boost because Uncharted was a pretty big hit.
Yeah, him and Chris Evans have gotten the biggest boost from being in Marvel movies. They've had audiences accept them to a degree, but they're not what I would call AA list, but they definitely got some niche hits. I mean, like Knives Out for Chris Evans, and Tom Holland has done pretty good.
I mean, I would say with Knives Out especially, that was more of an ensemble movie, so that's not really him headlining. That's beside the point.
I understand what he's saying. I get it, but at the same time, it's so elitist. It's so elitist to say, "Oh, my movies are films. Yours are movies." And you can't take anything that's a comic book seriously. It has to have drama. And it's like, have you not seen Wakanda Forever?
I didn't take his comments as being like that, but
yeah, he wasn't Martin Scorsese where he was just outright bashing it, but like Tarantino's watched every single Marvel movie. He's read comic books. He loves the Marvel comic books. He said it himself. So he does have context there, and he has a point.
I don't know. I kind of just feel like it's a lot of elitism, but maybe not.
I don't know. I mean, if Paul Thomas Anderson had said that, I would get it.
Well, he has said several times there really aren't movie stars anymore,
which is fair. Like Tom Cruise is probably the last one that I can think of.
Yeah, he might be. We might get some others. I mean, Zendaya has possibilities of becoming what I'd call a full-blown movie star, or someone popular like Beyonce. But who knows? The world right now we're going through rapid change, and I don't think the world has changed this much since the 1960s.
Yeah.
But like we don't really have like the global star level anymore. I mean, you got global movies, but you don't have like a lot of stars that could translate success beyond like Marvel or DC or whatever.
Yeah. like Arnold Schwarzenegger couldn't open a movie globally that would be
Yeah.
number one around the globe anymore.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise still does it, and he's in his 60s.
And he's pretty much about it.
Yeah. I mean, Jackie Chan can't even really open up a movie domestically anymore because mainly it's just direct-to-video anymore, at least here in the States.
Yeah, I mean, he still has some pull in Asia, but his Asian movies don't open here anymore.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is also that Marvel and this comic book movies overall are the only ones that kind of unite so many people that want to watch it, because there's dozens and dozens and dozens and hundreds of movies that release every year on streaming that I don't know about. And, you know, there's a movie for everybody on Netflix and on Disney, on everything, HBO Max, and it's so segmented now. The only movies that get big box office are the Marvel movies. So I kind of feel like that's the reason why, is because, you know, you want to know that story continue on. And yeah, Avatar might be a big franchise. You know, we'll see about second one, but
yeah, if it wasn't for Marvel movies, the theatrical experience would have probably not survived the pandemic.
I think it's because Hollywood's hedging their bets on big CGI fests instead of actual movies. Because, you know, like, I want more just, like, studio-made, like, dramas in theaters instead of going directly to streaming or day and date, you know? It's just... Like, it's horror movies and comic book movies that's, like, tend to be the biggest movies.
I think it's hard for people to justify going to the theater for a drama or a comedy when you could just wait and watch it at home and it'd be just as good. And, you know, that's kind of why, you know, you want to see a big action movie, because you don't have, you know, a 7-point, you know, Dolby surround sound or whatever. You don't have 3D at home anymore, very rarely, for new releases. So it's one of those things you have to go to, you know, see it in theaters, because everyone's going to spoil it right afterwards. So, you know, if no one's going to spoil... I mean, I hope no one's going to spoil the new Knives Out movie. I'm just going to wait and watch it on Netflix. But I'm not, you know, people are going to wait for Netflix for that, and I'm not going to, you know.
I was going to see Glass Onion in theaters, but I had a freak snowstorm and was not about to drive in the snow and it literally melted an hour after I canceled my tickets.
I mean, but it's funny you mentioned Glass Onion, because it actually did really well in theaters for the week. It made $15 million on 600 screens, which is, if it would have had a full theatrical release, it probably would have done really well.
Oh, they were running it as many hours as they could legally show it in Salem in the theater. Oh, yeah. At it, and they were trying to get it extended, but Netflix wouldn't let them do it. And
Netflix is kind of stupid for that.
Oh, they're very stupid. Yeah, yes. Who would think that Netflix now looks like theatrical would serve them well? It served Amazon Movies did really well. Joaquin Phoenix had a lot of minor little hits with his Amazon movies, playing the art house circuit.
And now he's doing Apple Plus movies now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of dramas and I guess films on Apple Plus as well. So there's just a lot of different. It's really segmented, like I said, and it's really hard to have people. You know, for me at least, it's hard to go to theaters just for a comedy or a drama. I could enjoy that as much at home.
Because it's like for me to go to art house movie. You know, I take a date. You know, drinks and stuff. That's over $50. That's, you know. You don't want. There's very few things, and that's a lot of money for about 2 hours.
Oh yeah,
but I mean, it's the experience, though. Especially if it's a good movie, and then it's money well worth spent.
But
I mean,
if it is,
yeah.
Because if I had paid that for Strange World, I would have been as mad as the people I was with at the theater who weren't signed up to the movie club, and they had to pay full price for their tickets, their kids' tickets, all their popcorn and soda and candy.
I hope you didn't take a date to Strange World, though. That'd just be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like wife with kids, that's fine. But if you're like, you know, it's just you and a girl or whatever, and you take them to Strange World, then you got, unless the date picked it, that's about it.
Yeah. I know they were. My audience was staring at me like I was a pedo or something because I'm sitting here at this kids movie by myself. And I said, "Hey, I'm a 3D reviewer for a what?" And they go, "Huh?"
Sure you are.
And why? Yeah, sure you are. And they were like, "Well," and I'm like going, "Ask the theater. I'm here for every 3D movie." And they were like, "Yep, he is."
Okay, so it's interesting. There's very few movies I actually see in the theater that are not 3D. I'm perfect. I have, I think, subscription to every streaming service, so that's like $100 a month now, and it's like, damn right, I'm gonna wait to watch that because I'm already paying a lot of money, for different streaming services to make sure. But like, I don't even watch half of the stuff, and like I said, there's so much stuff on Netflix and. So much stuff that's not for me, and it's okay. Not every movie, not every TV show has to be for me, but there's so much content right now. It's so hard to find an audience for anything. And, you might have, 1 million people watch this show, but guess what? That's 1 million people worldwide is nothing compared to, how it was back in the, before times when we didn't have worldwide streaming.
Yeah. I think we're going to start seeing some mergers. Studios and streaming platforms merging, because it's going to be real interesting to see what happens with Sony, and we'll get to that. That's another That's a topic on our list today.
That's a great segue. Let's go to that.
Okay, exactly.
So Legendary cuts its ties with WB and now is with Sony. So that's out of the blue for me.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean that Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be through Sony now?
No, the Kong movie, that's still going to be. Those contracts are already in stone. So, but I wouldn't. But don't expect there to be any further Kong and Godzilla movies. I mean, possibly Kong, but I would say this version of the Godzilla verse is going to be cut short after the movies that have already been signed on the dotted line are made.
I mean, did they say why they
but it's because of what they did with Dune.
What did they do? Oh, because the theatrical and
exactly.
Streaming. Okay.
Lost. It's the whole reason that Oppenheimer movie is coming out at Universal instead of.
Oh, okay.
Because when Warner Brothers just arbitrarily decided to put everything on their platform without telling their partners first, that was the last straw. And Warner Brothers has a long history of doing stuff like this. Because they lost another. Who's the studio that did The Negotiator and Hollywood Confidential? God, I can't remember. But Warner Brothers shafted them the same way, and they went elsewhere. In fact, most people don't even remember they were part of Warner Brothers at one time.
I don't remember.
They've kind of been. Since a lot of their movies had Kevin Spacey in them, a lot of people don't. They're kind of canceled right now.
Now, I guess okay, let's go into some legendary movies per se, so that way people know what we're talking about. Because Legendary, I'm on their website now. Some of the movies we talked about, Kong movies. They also did Warcraft, and they also did Pacific Rim and Jurassic movies. And one of your favorite movies of all time, Skyscraper. And Black Klansman and Detective Pikachu. So that's going to be interesting, because is our Nintendo going to just say, no, we're going to do that now. We're not going to mess with this either,
Yeah, and Legendary is one of the money companies. They can raise money like nobody's business to make movies. Their pockets are deep, deep. They paid for a lot of stuff at Warner Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
And like Enola Holmes 1 and 2, it's on Netflix. That's basically a retelling of Sherlock Holmes, but a different kind of thing, right?
Yeah, from the point of view from the sister, and Henry Cavill is Holmes.
So they do a lot of Netflix stuff right now with Texas Chainsaw Massacre that came out recently.
Ugh.
They have, and since they are Asian, they have ties to China. They can get their movies in with very little problem into the Chinese market.
And they did The Great Wall, which is a big hit in China, I think, but not here.
Yeah.
Or anywhere else.
I mean, the movie's mediocre, but the 3D is pretty nice if you can find the disc.
Now, Warcraft, again, did pretty well in Asian markets, but not here. Is that going to affect...
But it did so well in China, they're trying to do a sequel. So I imagine that's going to be at Sony.
And Interstellar and Dracula Untold, and, I don't know about that, but the
Dracula
300
Untold.
movies... Huh, I forgot that they did Man of Steel. Interesting. And Hangover movies, Jack and the Giant Slayer, The Dark Knight Rises, Wrath of the Titans, the Hangover movies, Sucker Punch.
Yeah, some of these they only financed, and some they actually had more of a hand in. But yeah, that's going to kill Warner. Warner Brothers is going to have to find another source of money to get the product made.
Yeah,
them Legendary is a big deal.
Yeah, I just wanted to name some names because people may not know, they'd see the logo or they hear it, but they don't know. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff they worked on for the last 30 years that we know.
Yeah, it's going to basically turn Sony into a powerhouse.
So yeah, they worked on Batman Begins, Superman Returns, 300, Dark Knight, so Watchmen, a lot of comic book movies that they already had a hand in. So it's interesting what's going to happen after that, because Warner Brothers is really struggling to get things going. But hey, James Gunn is I'm excited for him being in charge.
Yeah, he's going to be running DC with Peter Shafran. Yeah, 2-year contract. What was interesting is before Iger came back to Disney, he was a consult. Him and Alan Horn were both consulting Zaslav at Warner's. So I'm wondering, Now I know there's no way Disney's going to buy Warner Brothers because I can't imagine the U.S. electing anybody dumb enough to let that go through.
Yeah, that would be too big. That is too much power.
That would be so big it would destroy the market.
Yeah.
But there have been rumors that Zaslav is strictly trying to get Warner's in shape to sell off.
Now, Disney is a little bit hurting for money because one of their recent movies, A Strange World, is pretty much a bomb.
And COVID is really hurt their park business.
Now, Deadline was saying that the reason why Strange World got a theatrical release instead of a straight to the Disney Plus release was because a lot of the animation people were really pissed because they had Luca that went directly to home release. They had Turning Red, which is really, really loved. I think it's a great movie, but I don't love it like everyone else does. But that movie went straight to home release, and they're like, imagine they're going to be
all 3 of those should have went theatrical.
Yeah, and Soul. So they wanted to make sure that they got their movies in theaters, and of course, having a gay character, they wanted to have that there too. So they didn't want to, sideline that. But it's still,
they should have sidelined it and told them it wasn't good enough. And
I mean, I'm not part of that, but I'm I guess an ally of that. But you don't want bad representation.
This was bad decisions that Chapek made.
I mean, like Lightyear got a theatrical release, and that movie not really good.
It's okay. Yeah. I like it.
I thought it was okay. There were things about it I liked, and there were things about it I didn't like. But I think what killed it was the same thing that killed Solo. Audiences loved Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Well,
and they were like, "Where's Tim Allen?" Like they were like, "Heaven forbid that Harrison Ford grows old." They wanted him as Solo. They didn't give a damn.
I just kind of think it's more
to talk about Indy 5.
Well, hold on. We still got a little bit more here.
Okay.
I kind of feel like Solo and Lightyear were both movies that no one really wanted.
Yeah, exactly. They weren't. I mean, I thought they were both decent, but they weren't. But you're absolutely right. There are some things that people weren't clamoring for, and they're not willing to spend $50 to $100 to go see in a movie theater with their family.
Yeah,
They just saw, like, these were, like, essentially paycheck movies of, like, hey, we could get a lot of money with this, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah.
They didn't read the room.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. And it's really interesting that, Strange World is a new product, a new franchise, or, people complain about not getting new movies and they finally get one and they don't care about it and it bombs. So it's one of those things where Disney is probably really not sure what to do with animation right now because, Lightyear, in theory, should have made a lot of money. It's based on Toy Story property. Each Toy Story movie made more money than the previous one, and 3 and 4 both made $1 billion, I think, and they made a lot of money.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think if Tim Allen had did the voice, they would have had $1 billion movie.
I don't know
if it'd be $1 billion. I think it would have been like closer to maybe $750 million, but it would have done better.
Yeah, they should have left the whole conceit off about this is the movie Andy saw, or if they were going to go with that, or if they were going to go with that conceit, had Andy had footage of Andy going to the theater because people would love to see Andy again.
Or they could have just made it as a 1990s sci-fi movie like Independence Day, make it big and dumb. That would have been really cool because a kid would have loved that.
Yeah.
Kids did love Independence Day back in the day.
Yeah, kids would not like that year, and they didn't like it when it came out now.
Because it was rather tame and boring and
really sci-fi and brainy. It's not really kid kind of stuff. And I like it. I do like it. It's just, it's not really, I don't believe for a fact that this is a movie that, the quote-unquote movie that Andy saw. Whatever.
Yeah.
I don't believe
that.
I could believe it did. And Sid just gave the middle finger and said, I'm going to destroy all toys.
I think this may be a movie that Andy, as an adult, had seen and then was thinking about buying a Buzz Lightyear toy, but then decided not to because he remade his childhood favorite and is like,
Mamma mia!
This.
Yeah, exactly. He's like,
screw it.
Yeah, Disney raped and murdered my childhood.
Yeah.
I mean, it's also the whole prequel, do you really care about a prequel because they're going to be okay for the other movies, or is this continue a story or give you a new story? And that's where some of the issues were with both Solo and this, where they're not bad movies by any means.
No.
But it's just, I don't care about them. I saw them both once and I'm probably never going to see them again. Not that I hate them. It's just, I don't have that passion for it. Where does this movie go beyond here? And I don't know where it goes and it's not needed. Some things are not needed. Some movies, you already had 4 Toy Story movies. You don't need another franchise to spin off of that.
I mean,
you're good.
You also had a Buzz Lightyear TV show from the early 2000s that explained his history. It was hand-drawn. It didn't look the greatest, but it was a good show.
Exactly.
And if it would have continued that storyline, I think it would have been more popular even without Tim Allen.
That show even had Tim Allen in it. I think Patrick Warburton replaced him after the direct-to-video movie. I could be wrong, but it's been a while since I've seen it.
There's versions of the direct-to-video movie. One Patrick Warburton did the voice, and one Tim Allen did the voice.
Right.
I think it's also a little bit too cute by half with, Tim Allen is the voice of the toy, Wahlberg is the voice of the TV personality, and Chris Evans is the actual characters. It's too much.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was too much for a majority of the audience to follow, especially with the character that a lot of them, if they even know who the actor is, associate him with Captain America.
Yeah. And he just, Chris Evans doesn't have that voice to be a Buzz Lightyear. It's not like a booming, kind of theatrical, over-the-top sci-fi voice. It's just his normal voice, and it just didn't fit Buzz Lightyear.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And we're doing a lot of Buzz Lightyear bashing on this channel right now. And it's not even really relevant to the conversation.
I don't think it's bashing per se. It's just being critical, and we're being fair. I feel like.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And kind of off topic a little bit, but
All right. You mentioned Indiana Jones, and let's go to Indiana Jones. We got the trailer for The Dial of Destiny, aka the 5th Indiana Jones movie, and the trailer didn't say anything about 3D. The poster didn't say anything about 3D, but Real D said, hey, look at this trailer, and they won't talk about 2D only movies. They only talk about 3D movies, so I guess that it's a 3D movie. Now, this movie looked very dark, so it's like, oh boy, I'm going to have a really dark movie, but it looks good, it looks fun, it looks like Indiana Jones, so I'm hyped for it. What do you guys think?
This was a great trailer, especially the end bit with the whip. This was an awesome trailer. You will believe an 80-year-old man can kick ass.
Too bad the title is awful.
The title sucks.
I hate the title. I wish they'd rename it.
Agree.
This is a bad Atomic Blonde was for a movie set in the 80s.
Yeah.
So what is the Dial of Destiny?
I think it's going to be a time travel device.
Yeah, because it looked like he was jumping through time.
Yeah.
And I could also tell the CG on this was not finished. Yeah, even though I loved the trailer, the CG was rough. Even an old analog person like me could spot how weak the CG was. But it was obviously not finished yet. And I applaud for releasing this kind of early trailer and not having perfect CG. Now, I think what they should do is put a disclaimer on trailers that say effects may not be finished. Because people are screaming. Because the biggest complaints I'm hearing from people is how terrible the CG is. But it's obviously not finished, and they wanted to give us something to see before, and they weren't going to make us wait like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
We'll get to Guardians, but it is interesting that we're getting this trailer so early. We got so many trailers this week so early, and before we were just like, where are the trailers for Wakanda Forever? Where's the trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder? And we didn't get it till like a month and a half before release, and now we're getting it 7 months before it comes out. So
I think they're pushing trailers earlier because their strategy of a month and a half before is not translating to box office.
Yeah. Because not enough people are gearing up. They're not getting excited. They're just like, oh, there's another Marvel movie? Oh, crap. I didn't know that.
Now, did you guys think that this movie might not necessarily be great for 3D because it's so dark, or is it just me?
I mean, I think certain scenes, but yet again, it could be color timing that's not finished yet. I think it might be good for 3D.
Yeah. And if they've got a good cinematographer like the Russo brothers had, they had great 3D and dark movies. So it's just not highly probable.
It's just, they got a really good cinematographer for this movie. But I just hope it's good. I just hope the 3D is good and the movie is good, because the last one was okay.
I don't hate the last one.
I don't hate it. It's just, it was kind of stupid.
yeah, but I think it's kind of fun, stupid, but that's just me. I understand people don't like it. But maybe it's like a rule with Indiana Jones movies where you get one good one bad one good one bad one good one. So maybe this is going to be the last one and end in a good way. But I haven't seen 2 and 3, so I can't verify that. I know.
Last Crusade is the best one, in my opinion.
Oh, Raiders is the best one. But in fact, Raiders, I consider it an Indiana Jones movie. It's just kind of its own thing.
Well, I mean, but the thing with the plot of Raiders is, if Indy didn't do anything, the Nazis still would have melted. So it's rather pointless, in my opinion. But that's just me. I still love the movie. But
but that's kind of the whole charm of it. Indiana Jones he's about as stupid as a stump turtle. But he still managed. I mean, he does the dumbest things, and watching him get out of stuff. And this,
but the third movie has Sean Connery as his dad, so that's automatic win for me.
Yeah, a lot better in the second movie. That was a smart move on them, bring in somebody else for him to play off of.
Yeah.
And he was, and Sean Connery was still at the top of his game.
Oh yeah.
Now, in this movie, did they de-age Harrison Ford? Because he doesn't look as old as he should
Yes.
Like they used some footage, and like I said, some of the CG was really rough.
No, they confirmed that he is going to be de-aged in certain scenes because it's going to take place around World War II-ish. Because the other films were in the 30s, except for the fourth movie, which is the 50s.
So now him willing to play General Ross makes more sense.
Yeah.
No, because it's like if he's being de-aged, that means he already messed with this, having to wear the ping pong balls and stuff on his face. So I guess he decided, okay, I can play Red Hulk.
And I guess they're just going to forget that the fourth one even existed and just move on, right?
If they're smart.
Is Aaron in this movie?
Because I don't think we're going to see a gruesome death scene with Shia LaBeouf in this. That would be nice.
But I mean, they got a stacked cast with this movie, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't hate the fourth one. I think it's dumb fun, and I liked it for being dumb fun. I mean, the first one had melting faces. The fourth one had aliens. It's not too far of a jump for me to be like, well, melting faces is okay, but aliens is too far. No, it's all silly good fun.
Well, to me, it was the atomic refrigerator.
Yeah, like even if he was protected from radiation, the pressure blast and being that close to the nuclear bomb after it got launched, that's like no. And the CGI was awful for the most part in that movie.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here because we got a lot of trailers, right? We got
yes. Let's talk about Guardians.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which we just got Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. Now, I really liked it. I don't know if y'all had a chance to see it yet.
Yep, it was a good holiday special.
I haven't watched it yet.
All right, I feel like it's a very good movie. I think it's great. I think it does what it needs to do. It's a lot of fun. It's basic. It's straightforward. Now, I think this definitely is a sequel to that because we see the same Groot, which is a big noteworthy thing because people are saying this is a swollen Groot, which I hate that term. I guess but fine. He is the swole Groot. He is the more adult Groot. So it looks like we get a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you get Groot holding it looks like a dozen guns.
Yeah,
that's
so he has to be swole.
That's an awesome way to show that he's a tree. He can have multiple, limbs and multiple guns in each limb. That's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Adam Warlock here, which I think looks cool. I think he's a really interesting character, and there's a lot they could play with him with for the comic book.
Yep.
And this feels like the end of the trilogy. Like we're gonna get some satisfaction on Rocket, and we're gonna.
I think Rocket's gonna die.
Yeah, and I think Drax might die too.
Yeah, he's looking thick too. He's not like swole. He's just flabby a little bit.
Yeah.
He has a shirt. All of them are wearing a uniform. For God's sake, it's interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is kind of like the third season of Star Trek.
This is a fun trailer. Like it's weird too. It has these animal people. I was like, what the hell is going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, the island of Dr. Moreau.
I love the dodgeball face, to the face. That was funny.
Yeah, I thought it was a great trailer. I thought it got me super excited, hyped for the movie. I'm very interested in this, and I feel like, I love James Gunn. I think he's a great talent, and I think he knows how to make comic book movies, and he knows how to make things fun and funny. So this is going to be a lot of fun. This is the last movie, I think, before he goes on to DC full time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Peacemaker season 2. I need it now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Peacemaker, man. Peacemaker was so much fun.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do we know the villain of this movie? I think it's a weird villain, right, Jake?
A high evolutionary.
What is that?
Oh, he's basically a guy who tinkers with people's DNA in the comics. He messed with the X-Men. He messed with it was a retcon for Wanda and Pedro when they couldn't decide when they decided that they couldn't be actually the kids of the Wizard and Miss America. So,
interesting. And we have no idea when this takes place either, because the timeline is all weird right now with Marvel. I don't know when things take place.
Gamora's in it, though, so it's post
James makes lots of changes from the comics, but so far every change he's made has been superior. It serves the story. So he's not one of these guys who's comic accurate to the point of destroying the story, like we could say at the end of Hawkeye and what they did with Kingpin. Jesus.
Yeah, we won't get to that, but yeah, I have faith in this movie. I'm excited. I'm hyped. I think the CG is fine too. Like, I don't have any problems with the CG in this movie either.
Well, that's why the trailer is so late, because James Gunn didn't want to put up with people ragging on the CG, so they wait till it was finished to show it, and it looked absolutely beautiful. And hopefully it's still, they got the trailer. Hopefully they got it out early enough to push this, so Disney will make a success of it.
And put it in 3D in front of Avatar 2 would be really nice.
Yep.
Now, James Gunn is actually a big fan of 3D, so I feel like he knows how to do it, and he's going to do it well. So I'm excited for it, 3D-wise.
But it was weird that the Suicide Squad wasn't in 3D, so I don't know if that was a Warner Brothers thing or a James Gunn thing.
Oh, I'm guessing Warner Brothers. They're like, this is going to be R-rated, this is going to be very tightly budgeted.
Yeah, Black Adam wasn't 3D either, and it was obviously shot to be converted. I would say Warner Brothers didn't have the money to do the conversion.
All right, let's keep going here. We got a Transformers movie trailer. Transformers, Rise of the Beasts. Rise of the Beasts! Now, you may know this, Jacob. There was a Beast Wars animated CG 90s or early 2000s show that really got interesting. A lot of people really like that show. I'm guessing Jacob, or Classic Jake, you have not seen that or know about that TV show, right?
Hell no, and it sounds like I don't want to know.
I mean, I'm aware of the TV show, but I've never seen it.
I just heard that it's really well liked, and it's like it's early CGI, but it worked out pretty well for TV. So,
yeah, I'm just hoping this is a 2D movie, and I don't have to pay any attention to it.
Oh no, I think they're going to go full hog with the 3D and IMAX 3D possibly, because this is like Paramount's one of their big franchises is Transformers. The last 4 were 3D.
It's hard because the last 4 have been 3D. I think the last night was filmed in IMAX 3D, for God's sakes. Now, I think Bumblebee was 3D. Now, I think this is like a reboot. So I haven't seen Bumblebee, but I don't think it goes at all with the canon to Bumblebee, but you all can confirm that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a Michael Bay movie. I don't think he has anything to do with it. The action scenes, they're not chopped to heck. They're it has the director of Creed 2, so I liked Creed 2.
It still looks like a Transformers movie.
It still looks like a Transformers movie, but the action makes sense. You still have the cool slow-mo. You have the scene where he just steps out of his car and then it transforms into one of the bots. So, I mean, it's a Transformers movie. I don't know what lore you can get from that.
I always wonder why the beasts look like beasts that we have on Earth, because, wouldn't their beasts be different than our beasts? But whatever. There's probably a canon explanation for that.
Yeah. Well, I was always too old for Transformers.
You're never too old for Transformers.
Now, Jake, you reviewed what is a quote-unquote good Transformers movie. I reviewed 2 of the bad ones, so I should be more negative.
Bumblebee was awesome.
And I haven't seen that one. I saw the other ones, but not that one.
Yeah, it's good.
Bumblebee is different. It was directed by the guy who did, I think, Kubo and the Two Strings, oddly enough.
Yeah, Travis Knight from Laika.
Yeah.
And son of Phil Knight.
Yeah. And, Bumblebee was a fun 80s throwback, sort of, you know? It's just a fun movie that not a lot of people seen, and it's a shame it never even got a 3D release at home.
Gave a great performance. He sells some really awkward dialogue very well.
Yeah, but it's a fun movie, and it's fun to see Bumblebee as the actual car that he was.
Yeah, it was kind of like an Amblin movie.
Yeah, which I mean, Spielberg did executive produce it, so it makes sense.
Yeah,
it made almost 500 million worldwide, which is lower than the other billion movies that they've done before. So, I
mean, it made more than the last night, or around the same amount. That was more expensive.
So, is this in canon with Bumblebee or no? I don't understand it anymore. I don't know what.
I don't know. Like, Bumblebee was a prequel, and I want to say this is a start of a new series, but Michael Bay is producing it, so I'm not 100% sure.
I mean, I'm fine with it being a prequel because the timeline is all screwy. It doesn't make any sense anymore. I mean, it never made sense to begin with, and it just got worse and crazier. Each one is like a prequel and a sequel, and then this, oh yeah, this stuff happened in the past. Oh yeah, this stuff happened later that you didn't know about. And it's like, okay, I don't know what's going on here.
But I mean, you got Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime back, so that's all everybody wants, Peter Cullen.
I thought he died.
No, he's still alive.
But isn't he like 100?
He's 81 currently.
Wow. Okay. I thought he died, but I guess I'm wrong.
Okay. Well, the voice actor. This is an awkward transition. I guess we should talk about the great Kevin Conroy now.
R.I.P.
Yeah, Red Power. Yeah, my Batman. Well, one of my Batman, but he's one of the best Batmen of all time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we also have had a lot of deaths recently, which is sad, and a lot of these were kind of unexpected it's kind of shocking. And Kevin Conroy was fantastic. He not only did Batman animated series and Justice League, he did a lot of video games too, and he was even in the CW verse, and he was relatively young, so this was even more. He wasn't like 80 or 100 or something. I think it was like 60.
It was like 60.
Yeah.
Like, what? Did they ever say what he died of?
No, not that I know of.
No.
That's a shame.
But yeah, he loved being that character. He had fun with it, and it was, I love that show. The Batman animated series is fantastic, and it perfectly balances the darkness and the comic bookness of Batman, and it's great for kids. It's great for adults.
Adults, yeah. The Batman animated series is easily the best Batman on television, bar none. Incredible.
Oh yeah,
incredible.
He died of colon cancer.
Oof, rough.
Yeah.
This is Batman, calling you from Wayne Manor. I sat with both of my parents as they passed, and the thing to remember is their spirit lives on. The body is just a vessel, and you really see that when someone passes. The people we love are always with us.
All right, I guess we'll just go through all the deaths since we got a couple other ones.
Jason David Frank.
Yeah, Jason David Frank, the Green and White Power Ranger, apparently committed suicide.
White Power Ranger. May want to comma that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Power Ranger.
Yes.
But apparently he died of suicide, and that's just really sad.
Yeah.
He was beloved for a long time, and people loved this character, and he, he was a good guy, and if you need help, get help. It's no shame in having mental health issues. It's common. It's okay to get help. Get help. Get medicine. Yeah. It's fine.
611 is the number, isn't it?
The new national suicide hotline number is 988.
Yeah, and depression is not being sad.
Yes.
It's only yeah, you can't just cure up a depressed person.
Yeah.
They need help. Medication probably.
All right. What other deaths do we have here?
The guy who played in the greatest Christmas movie of all time, he played Theo in Die Hard. He passed away recently.
Okay. Oh, Fleetwood Mac, Christy McVie.
McVie.
Rest in peace. She was
Yeah.
almost 80, which I was surprised by that.
I wasn't. That Fleetwood Mac had been recording since the early 60s.
Yeah. It's just still, like, it's shocking that she was that old.
Now, it's not really 3D related, but, we want to give credit to these people because they've been around for a long time, and we respect their work. And so I know it's not directly 3D related, so I'm sorry for people, but I thought it was important to talk about these three, these deaths that happened recently. That it's in pop culture, it's in Hollywood, so yeah. All right, let's keep going here. We got more topics. We got another trailer here for Knights of the Zodiac. Now, this is based on a manga, and it has a Netflix TV show, and it's being distributed by Sony, and this live-action movie has been in the works for years. I have no idea what's going on in this trailer. They say that it's about the Greek gods coming back or something. It's like, okay, I don't get confirmation of 3D here, but this is exactly the kind of movie that gets 3D releases, so maybe?
I've never even heard of this movie. Or even
Yeah.
seen a trailer.
I haven't either. So, yeah, hopefully it gets 3D. Because it could be good. It could not be good.
I mean, it has a lot of imagery of like Greek gods and stuff, and all that kind of mythology and such, and a lot of it looks like an anime come to life or a manga come to life. So I get it, and it's that kind of movie. So I don't know if it's coming out. I don't know when it's coming out next year. It might just go directly to Netflix. I'm not sure. I'm thinking they're seeing how popular it is, but the anime is on Netflix right now. So if you're interested,
I mean, anime movies right now are kind of big in theaters, so I don't know how a live action adaptation would be.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going here. Jacob, what do you want to talk about next?
Oh, I guess we could talk about the Spider-Verse stuff at Sony. Yeah, Madam Web pushed to 2024, and Craven is now October 23rd.
Who cares?
I have no interest in those.
Yeah, they sound like they're going to be Morbid time.
I mean, especially they just seem miscast too, with Dakota Johnson as Madam Web and Aaron Taylor Johnson as Craven.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the more you hear about Craven, the worse it sounds.
I mean, Morbius was bad, and it kind of just cemented that Sony doesn't know what they're doing. So
yeah.
Even though Venom and Venom 2 were legit pretty good movies.
Yeah. Oh, Morbius is kind of make a bigger star out of Matt Smith.
I'm not a fan of the first Venom movie. The second one, I guess, is better, but still, I'm not a huge fan of them.
Fun. They're trashy fun. They're trash.
Yeah.
And to say anything else, to say they're great cinema, you're fooling yourself. But they are awesome trash.
Yeah, I really should discern that they're great fun. I have fun watching them.
Yeah.
I mean, like, whenever you have a line like a turd in the wind, you got yourself a B movie.
Or you see, you sit there and watch lobster sushi. It was absolutely hysterical.
Yeah.
I just know real lobsters were killed in that, but I imagine they were.
So, Master Web or Madam Web, that whole canon, that whole story is really weird and out there, and I think it's a lot to do. I mean, I guess it's enough for a movie, but it's hard to do that without Spider-Man. So I don't know how they're going to do that to make that standalone.
Madam Web.
I mean, same thing with Craven the Hunter. I mean, what are you going to do? He's a huge tie to the Spider-Man verse. So.
Yeah, exactly. And he's evil. I mean, he's a hunter. He kills animals. He's even considered more evil than he originally was. And the best story with Craven is Craven's Last Hunt, which is why they killed off the character, because there wasn't really anything interesting to do with him. He was just Ditko could just draw the hell out of him.
They're probably going to turn this into a PG-13 bloodless fest, which I'm not saying he's like Punisher level, but isn't there like brutality in the comic books, like with blood and everything?
Fatality.
Yeah, he's a
He's a hunter. He's a hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter
So,
should be hard.
So it's gonna be another Morbius situation. Whenever you hear blood gushing, but you don't see blood gushing.
Oh, I've heard it's gonna
Maybe.
be even worse than that. He's gonna not be a hunter. He's gonna be animal rights activist. Yeah, if you're gonna go social justice warrior, at least get a social justice warrior to write your script.
All right. Well, yeah, that sounds pretty bad. I was already not looking forward to either one of them, so now I'm like, oh god, for both of them.
I hope you have good 3D, or better yet, no 3D, and then I can ignore them completely.
Maybe Sony will prove us wrong. Hopefully. I don't want to wish...
hopefully Legendary steps in.
I don't want to wish bad movies happening.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I hope Legendary steps in.
We shall see. We shall see. All right. Jacob, what do you want to talk about next?
Let's talk about the latest Super Mario World movie trailer.
Super Mario Brothers, the movie. This looks awesome to me. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. But
Chris Pratt doesn't sound awesome.
Yeah. I mean, he's not quite the audio version of the first Sonic trailer, but it's weird hearing Mario not talk like he's from the House of Gucci movie.
He's been talking.
Have that Italian voice that Mario always has.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need that Italian stereotype, but I want him to try. I don't feel like Chris Pratt is trying at all.
Yeah, whenever he said "let's go," he just said it like I did. "Let's go." I'm like, ugh.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Give me passion,
Chris.
And considering how much great voice work is in this trick, oh my god, Jack Black, killing it.
Charlie Day needs a little more work with his Luigi, but I mean, he's better. He's actually trying.
He's trying, and I like it. I like that Luigi bit with the mustache, and I think that would be a great way to have a gag and maybe showcase Waluigi and Wario, but not really mention them. Because, like, we all know he's talking about Mario, but that could be a fun gag. You know that, right, Jacob?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the bit with Donkey Kong, hilarious. Love it.
Yes, and then like they got a Princess Peach in the trailer, which I was excited for because I love Princess Peach, and she's just beyond a damsel in distress now. She's actually a strong person.
I'm imagining that somehow or another she's still going to get kidnapped, but she's not going to go by easy. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And it's going to be more interesting of a story. Now, it seems like maybe Bowser's going to different worlds and getting their stars. Like, maybe he went to the ice world first and got that star from the penguins. Maybe he's going to the Yoshi's island to get their star. Maybe going Donkey Kong and Mario and Donkey Kong want to work together now or something to stop him going to the Mushroom Kingdom, and maybe the Desert Kingdom, the Saramasa Kingdom from Mario Land. There's so much here, and I really feel like there's so much for Nintendo and video game fans, and it feels like Nintendo has made so many Easter eggs here. It's wonderful.
Oh, and yeah.
It's not like obvious
the
either.
training level is a typical level. The girders for the Donkey Kong scene is like from the Donkey Kong video game. So lots of Easter eggs.
This would be the movie that breaks the video game curse.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've already kind of had a few of those, like Detective Pikachu, the Sonic movies.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was really good, actually. But it was not the main game. It was a spin-off game. And I don't even know how... And since I never played it, I have zero idea how close the movie was to the actual gameplay.
Based on the plot, not really. But, it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, I figured it wasn't. And the best video game movie, Jumanji, wasn't even a video game.
I will argue that the other... video game movie, there's other movies that are good, but they're all kind of sort of like the first Angry Birds movie was legitimately a very good movie. Like, I didn't think that was going to be a good movie, but it was better than it should have been.
It was just too little, too late, past its prime.
I Rampage, but I'm going to admit it's on a trashy level, just a little better than.
Oh God, are you gonna say Street Fighter?
No.
Thank God.
Venom.
Yeah, Venom.
The what movie?
Rampage.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Rampage was a lot of great, trashy fun.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you hate a movie with a gorilla that gives a Rock the finger?
Yeah, I mean, this could be the first truly fantastic movie that's inspired by an actual video game franchise. So it's super funny. It looks like everything hit. It feels like Nintendo put their heart and soul into this. Like
character design,
I actually gotten used to, and I like the new Donkey Kong. I like the new Luigi and Mario. I like it. I like how they look. And
Mario needs more cake.
Yeah.
His butt is not that plump like it usually is.
And, the Easter eggs are there, but it's kind of one of those things, they know how to do it, so that way it's not completely in your face Easter eggs either. It's just like, it's hilarious, and it's awesome, and I'm hyped.
How do you feel about the rumored 85-minute runtime, though?
Cool. I'm fine with that. Make it quick. Make it fast.
Yeah.
I want there to be world building, too.
85 minutes. You could also have a crappy movie.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, like the last Venom wasn't as good as the first one, I feel, and it was like 95 minutes long. Very short.
Yeah.
Well, this podcast is going to be around 95 minutes long, if not longer.
We'll release this to theaters.
I wish.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks so much fun, and I love it. I love all the Easter eggs. I feel like it just has my childhood all over it, and I love this trailer. It is so fun and lighthearted, and it just captures the awe of Nintendo.
Trailer was made with so much love.
Now I'm really interested in Jake. Since you haven't really played the Mario games, how did you like this trailer?
Oh, I loved it. I mean, even though I'm not that familiar, I recognized I had enough stuff in here of recognition. I could tell this was made by somebody who really loves and cares about this, and it made me want to see this even more.
And like the scene with Peach and Mario in the fire flower garden, and like it's just like having the nice warm light, and she gets the firepower, and it changes her outfit. It's just like, that's how it works. You understand it, you get it, and it's so nice. You don't have to be like straightforward, you get it. And then having Mario fly with his Tanuki suit, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, and I like seeing a movie made with the realization that video games are a bigger business than Hollywood films.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They know who's going to go see this, and they made this, and these trailers have been made to pander to them, and I'm all here for it.
And the Rainbow Road has been there since the beginning of Mario Kart. It's not a woke rainbow, people. And but yeah, it is so good. It's so fun. We're wondering how much, me and Jacob, we did a podcast about Mario and like how much stuff they could cram in. And I feel like we were worried about how much it crammed in, and they still did that. That podcast is on Patreon, by the way, for patrons to listen to. So yeah, I love this trailer. I just had happiness and joy in my heart, and it's like, it's been a long time.
I mean, it's better than the 1993 Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Now, it does have a feeling about the Mario Super Show, because it does seem like Mario is a plumber and Luigi is a plumber in the real world, and somehow they get into the Mushroom Kingdom, and it does feel like it's getting some of that. And we did get a related story that John Leguizamo is actually still kind of upset about the cast not being diverse. And to a degree, he has a point. Now, I think voice acting is also an art that it could be anything you want to be, as long as you have the talent. It doesn't matter, and you could be whatever race or animal or whatever. Now, obviously, Chris Pratt, we complained about him. I think he's doing an adequate job, which is still not good enough considering how big of a character he is. And maybe he gets better in the movie, but it feels like he's just phoning it in, doing basic, when it should be
Yeah.
awesome. It should be great. So it's Leguizamo's, I don't really care if we actually have an Italian or European.
Yeah, he's not Italian himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Luigi.
Well,
and he's not Italian.
Dubbed in many markets, so there is going to be representation. It's just not going to be in the U.S. market.
Yeah. And you could have representation. You could have other voice actors, and that could just how many voice actors from the past voiced hundreds of characters.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to have it. It's nice to have representation, but it's not necessary for everything. If you can, cool. If you don't, it's not that big a deal as long as you're trying to show effort. And that's the thing here. I don't feel like Chris Pratt is putting effort in, which is sad and disappointing. But maybe the movie is going to be great. Maybe the movie is going to be great despite him not being A-game. Because it seems like he's getting paid to be in the movie because he has a name. People know Chris Pratt, but it should be about the character. So it should be about the character. It should be whoever could voice the character and do the best job in that. It doesn't matter if they're really that way. So.
Well, to be honest, I'd rather have John doing it instead of Chris Pratt. I think he would have done a good job.
Because even though most of the Ice Age movies are terrible, he's really good as Sid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree to that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, we have examples of, June Foray, she was a voice actor that did so many roles. Classic Jake, do you know that name?
Oh, yeah. Rocky Forever. I mean.
Rocky from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Can you imagine her as Sylvester Stallone if they did a Rocky cartoon?
Yeah, I actually could.
She was Granny from the Sylvester cartoon. She was Chatty Cathy Doll. She was so many different characters, and she was there. And I don't care that she's not an actual cat or actual grandmother. I don't care. She does a great job. I don't care. It's about the talent. So I kind of agree with Leguizamo, but not exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as they're not being stereotypical.
An African American portrayed Darth Vader, was the voice of Darth Vader for decades.
Yeah.
As long as the talent's there, I don't care who does it, really.
Well, I mean, I mean, the only issue is giving minorities a chance. I mean, I'm sad that they didn't. I'm hoping at least some of the smaller roles went to minorities.
Keegan-Michael Key is Toad, I think.
The issue is not so much the representation, but opportunity. Because representation's fine, but if you don't create opportunity, it means nothing.
Yeah, and Mel Blanc is another legendary voice actor who played countless voices for
Bugs
decades.
Bunny.
Yeah.
Daffy Duck.
And so he doesn't have to be an actual rabbit or actual duck. It's fine.
Or Paul Lynn. I mean, he did tons of voice work. Most of it uncredited, but his voice was so recognizable.
We definitely honor the art that is voice acting, and that's why we love Kevin Conroy.
Yeah, and Mark Hamill to me is more of a voice actor than he ever was an actor. I mean, I don't think of him as Luke Skywalker. I think of him as the Joker and the young guy who was on the I Dream of Jeannie TV show, animated TV show.
You mean you don't think of him as the star of Corvette Summer? That's awful.
Oh, I do think of him as that. And,
I had to reach there for that.
And 8 is enough. Yes,
8 is enough.
Yeah, I'm 8 is enough.
All right, let's keep going here. We got some details on PlayStation 5 VR, the second generation of VR. And it's kind of disappointing. It's super expensive.
$100 billion.
Jacob, you know more about this?
No, I didn't even know that they were releasing it right yet. I thought they were still in the planning stages.
Yeah, same here.
So $550
plus the PS5, so it's over $1,000. And
I hate to say this, we got to stay with the Oculus.
Yeah, we're still gonna have to give Zuckerberg our money.
Yeah.
It's a shame because I did play around with the previous generation VR from PlayStation, and it was really nice. But it's too expensive for this cost, and the PS5 is pretty expensive as is. So it's just too much to put it in there, and I feel like VR is always going to be a couple years away, and it always going to be not quite cheap enough. And it's just sad.
I think it's always going to be a niche product. It's more mainstream, but it's still going to be a select thing. I think augmented reality is probably going to be a bigger thing.
Because if the Oculus didn't mainstream it, because you technically don't even need a computer to run it. You can just run it from the. If they couldn't make that work, of course, I think part of the reason it didn't work is because they forced you to have a Facebook account, and I know a lot of people. Because most everybody I know who didn't jump at an Oculus is because of the forced to have a Facebook account. But I just looked at it as, well, I needed one to talk to my mother anyway. So now I can talk to her while I'm on VR.
It's just, as long as there's 3D Blu-ray support, or if they have like a 3D streaming option, especially with the HDR screens that's going to be in there, fine. But I don't know, $550 is just going to be so expensive with the PlayStation 5 already being at least $400 for the digital version.
Dang.
Yeah, and inflation's kicking a lot of people's asses around the world, so it's not going to be something that people want to jump onto,
Right.
All right, let's...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and the PSVR already kind of has a fairly large install base of like around 10 million people. So, are they going to jump aboard?
I don't know, and I imagine most people that had PSVR or PlayStation 4 VR probably have PlayStation 5s now. So it just depends on the games, and the games are there but not there. It just kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't seem to be super exciting, and it's not competitive, and it might be some, Apple is talking about, or there's rumors about Apple going in, but of course theirs will be super expensive too. So it might be one of those things where you may have to get like a service to stream the content that's, the headset is cheap, but like you have to do like Game Pass, or what was that Google one that ended recently? Stadia. Like that kind of thing might have to be for VR, where you're not paying to compute, you're paying to, have the headset and the, computing, the streaming it, maybe, but that might still be lagging of time and computer stuff. So I don't know. We do get, go ahead, Jacob.
I was going to say, let the device be a loss leader, sell the content, lose money on the device.
I mean, yeah, that's how it was for Meta, and but now they're going higher in cost too, and of course Meta's losing money left and right, so that may not be forever.
I mean, that's just an awful product.
Yeah,
it sucks. The headset's awesome, but the Meta sucks.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg is like, we're going to get legs, and I'm like, VR chat's had that for years. And it's a much better product.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Twitter's going fire too. It's just like, all social media is going down.
Yeah. Because I think people are starting to realize of how toxic it is. And just, there's a lot of false info out there.
Uh-huh. And it's not meeting people's needs. I mean, people are never going to get off the internet, but they're going to go elsewhere. It's now where they're going to go. I mean, Elon Musk, I highly recommend lurking on Twitter. It's a glorious shit show. I mean, watching it slowly devolve. It's hilarious. And just it's like, who's going to go down first, Elon or Kanye?
Now, something else that went down was the director of, I'm stretching here to get the last topic in. They got a new director for Blade, and because the last director left, and this new director is Jan Demenge, and he he was big part of Lovecraft Country. So I haven't watched that, but I heard great things about that show.
Oh well, yeah. What I've seen of it, it was awesome. It was one of those things that it just triggered a lot of racists.
I know that Yonda Marge was associated with another comic book movie before. I forgot which one it was, but he didn't get the job.
Yeah, he's a good director. So him and Mahershala Ali probably got the gig because they're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I just worry that we might be a while before we get this Blade movie. A couple years.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's going to be a while too, but hopefully Blade shows up. They decide to try to make their universe more integrated and have Blade show up somewhere.
All right. Well, we're going for hour 40 now, so I think that's a wrap for the non-patrons. The patrons get some bonus features, including we're going to talk about some Tim Burton movies, some Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, some DreamWorks movies, all that extra content, and, of course, Cocaine Bear. We're going to be on the patron-only section. So, non-patrons, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right, before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Mr. Bungo 5, Kano 3D, Gravity Head Zero, Alex Folk, and Kevin Winter for your financial support on Patreon.com. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.